Hi, everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. As we're progressing through Holy Week, today's gospel is quiet but heavy. It shows how something can be happening right in front of you and still go unnoticed. Jesus is still at the table with his disciples, sharing a meal. Obviously, everyone is feeling close. But then he says, "One of you will betray me." The room shifts and there's confusion and questions. Let's listen. One of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What are you willing to give me if I hand him over to you?" They paid him 30 pieces of silver, and from that time on, he looked for an opportunity to hand him over. On the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples approached Jesus and said, "Where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and tell him, 'My teacher says, my appointed time draws near. In your house I shall celebrate the Passover with my disciples.'" The disciples did as Jesus had ordered and prepared the Passover. When it was evening, he reclined at the table with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, "Amen, I say to you, one of you will betray me." Deeply distressed at this, they began to say to him one after another, "Surely it is not I, Lord." He said in reply, "He who has dipped his hand into the dish with me is the one who will betray me. The Son of Man indeed goes, as it is written, but woe to the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It is better for that man if he had never been born." Then Judas, his betrayer, said in reply, "Surely it is not I, Rabbi." He answered, "You have said so." Obviously, when Judas says and asks the same question, and Jesus says, "You have said so," that's extremely powerful because the one who would betray him was close to him, was trusted, and was there, was present. So I think thinking about it today in our own time, we think, how often do we assume we would never be that person? Because betrayal doesn't always start with one big moment. Sometimes it just starts quietly. And maybe the question has to be, what is happening in our own hearts? Are we paying attention? So journal prompts for further reflection would be, have I ever ignored something that I knew just wasn't right? And where in my life do I need to be more honest with myself? And then finally, what does loyalty look like in small, everyday choices? I hope that this passage stirred something up in your heart. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Share it with a friend. Have a discussion about the Bible passage. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's Whispers.